This is the Conservative Czar, October 10th, 2012. I want to talk a little bit today about what's wrong. Where have we gone so wrong in the conservative movement? We've lost election after election after election. Uh, in the Republican Party, we lose, going back to Richard Nixon, Gerald Ford. Again, we had this conservative Ronald Reagan. Uh, and then we go to Bush, and then Dole, and then Bush 2, and then now Romney. How did this happen? How does this always happen to us? First of all, we're not as numerous as we might think we are. This means that we need to expand our base of traditional conservatives. But there's another reason that I want to talk about today, and that is that we have a characteristic, it goes back a long way, of eating our own. And it goes back to how the press and the liberals and moderate Republicans treated Sarah Palin. And I remember at the time all this happened, and I would have I'd be talking to conservatives, and they would be saying, well, I don't like her accent. Point is that as conservatives, we allow the mainstream media and moderate Republicans to influence how we look at candidates. And there's no better example of that. And I spent a lot of time talking about the Todd Akin case. He's running for senator in Missouri. He made some comments that were trashed in the media that I think were not outrageous. I don't agree with the comments. It's just that they weren't outrageous. They jumped on him. I don't fault the Democrats jumping on him. I do fault the mainstream media jumping on him. But the real harm was done when Republicans jumped on him and just didn't stand by him a little bit. And it might cost us the Missouri Senate. Not that Akin said those comments, but because fellow Republicans trashed him immediately. We as traditional conservatives, we don't have the luxury anymore about worrying about what our candidates look like, what their off-the-cuff remarks are, even some of character issues. We haven't got the luxury to pay attention to those anymore. We need to concentrate on one thing from our candidates, and that is, what do they believe in, and will they vote that way when they're elected? And he can be the ugliest, most inarticulate man or woman in the world. If they believe in the right things and they have the conviction to vote that way, we need to stand by them. We need to not let the mainstream media, not let the moderates pick our candidates. We need to stand up more. It's more important than that. Conservatives need to pay attention to the candidates' views and their conviction of those views, and not the other issues. Too often, what happens is that the mainstream media will attack one of our own on some peripheral issue, and traditional conservatives are swayed by this. Now, part of that reason is that the truth of the matter is that there is committed traditional conservatives who know the issues and understand where their viewpoints are and believe in them. And they're not so committed people who still are traditional conservatives, but they are swayable by celebrity. They're swayable by the mainstream media. They're swayable by Katie Couric and Matt Lauer, and those people can create the doubts in their mind. And then you have so-called, and they're not conservatives. Peggy Noonan is not a conservative. David Brooks is not a conservative. And they allow those people then to put a snide remark in, and it shakes their faith. And these are people who are weak, traditional conservatives that are weak in their views. These are the people, first thing we've got to do is toughen up the entire traditional conservative base. And we've got to toughen people up, that we got to forget all of the side issues. Concentrate on the candidate and what he believes in, And will he follow through? And we can find these people. They might not be the most articulate people. They might have a background that isn't pretty. They might be dog catchers. And I'm not saying anything wrong about dog catchers, but they could be. They didn't come out of Harvard. They might be inarticulate, but they believe in the things that we do, and they'll vote that way. We're sure of that. Those are our ideal candidates. And those are the people that we need to support until we can gain this discipline and block out the side remarks from the mainstream media, the snide remarks from moderate conservatives, and just block them out. They don't matter. The only thing that matters is what that person believes in, and will they vote that way. That's it. Shape up. Get discipline. It's the first thing that we got to do to try this impossible task, this tilting at windmills that we are facing in the next 2, 4, 6, 8 years, because we are losing every battle that's important to us. The end game is here. We don't have time for weak-kneed sisters. Toughen up. Try our best. Go forward. This is the Conservative Czar. See you next time.